Welcome to today's video where I'm going to talk about how we scaled a course and coaching business to 2.6 million a month cash collected. That's right, $1 million months are cool. Try 2.6 million in a month. And the best part was this business was low/no following, and all of the revenue was created from YouTube ads and what we call the direct call funnel. And if you're new to this channel, welcome. All we do is talk about is making money with high ticket direct call funnels. And if you've already been a subscriber here, well, welcome back. And today we got another banger video for you. Now, the business that I'm talking about is one called Profit Singularity. A good chunk of you actually might know me from the Profit Singularity days. It's no longer being advertised. The business has been repackaged and is still being sold under a different name, which I'm not going to talk about, but I'm going to talk about what was done to get the business to 2.6 million. First, doubling it from a quarter to 600. Now, Profit Singularity, if you're wondering, was a program that showed anybody who was interested in making money online how to make it doing what's called affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is nothing more than selling somebody else's products. There's businesses out there like ClickBank and JVZoo that have loads of products and things that you can sell. And this program specialized in showing you not only how to find these products and sell them, but a very unique way of marketing using AI and paid ads. I'm not going to talk about all of it in this video, but it was some pretty cutting edge stuff. And the students of this program in the year prior to me partnering with them were responsible for producing over $640 million in product sales. So this program was about as legit gets. It was the real deal. And it was a real honor getting to work alongside the business owner and some of the other key players that went into making that business run. And while this business had an online presence, most of you have never heard of it because it was all run through paid ads. And we'll talk more about that strategy today. But originally the business was webinars and launches, and we'll talk about the pros and cons of that. But all that we really did to be able to get this business to the levels that it was one, is we dialed in the setter closer handoff, meaning how do we get leads from appointment setter up to salespeople. Two, we dialed in the sales management and communication style. So that way everyone was seamlessly communicated. That way all of our salespeople were razor sharp in being able to communicate and help people overcome the concerns needed for them to buy. And that allowed us to create a 2 to 3x ROAS same day and up to $1 million months selling this product. And third is we dialed in the direct call funnel so everything ran harmoniously like clockwork. And the way that we knew that we had all three of these perfected was we doubled the revenue of the business, or I doubled the revenue of the business from $250,000 to $600,000 in 30 days. Well, just under 600, 593, 594 and some change. But needless to say, if you are a coach, consultant, and course creator looking for not only the best way, but the most effective way to sell your product or program, well, this video is for you. And if you're a high ticket closer looking to make more money, well, take these lessons and principles because you might be able to go out there and land what we call a sales consulting client. That's a topic for another day. If you're curious to learn more, there's some links in the description. Now, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So the situation before partnering with this business. Now, this product had existed and it actually got its inception off of an in-person event where they sold a bunch of people high ticket to go out on a private island and learn from the creators of the method themselves how to do this affiliate marketing. They got tremendous success, meaning every single person that invested in the program made their money. Some got to as high as $50,000, $60,000. Some just even made their first $1,500 online. They already had phenomenal case studies and proof of concept. From there, they continued to do webinar and kind of private under the radar launches where they were partnering with other influencers and kind of list hopping where they were launching. But the challenge with that, and I've worked with so many coaches that do webinars or in-person challenges, is that they are just exhausting. But beyond them being exhausting, they are boom and bust. Think about your favorite movie. How much promotion goes in before the movie? How many sales are done during the launch of the movie? And how much money is made after the launch? Well, really, 80% of all the revenue comes up into the launch date, maybe the first couple months, and then after that, it tapers off. And that's just as true when you sell products with webinars or if you sell things over challenges. You have a challenge, you make your money, challenge is done, then what? It's a game of hopping from challenge to challenge to challenge, or webinar to webinar to webinar. And that's when the business wanted to do something a bit different. They wanted to find a lot more sustainability in how they were selling it. Because one, there's not an infinite number of people out there that have lists that you can make money with. But two, if you could make money one month as opposed to making money every month, well, which one would you take? Probably the money every month. And so that's where it took them around 4 months to get the business to around $250,000 a month run rate off of their paid ads. That means finding a winning ad angle. That means finding the initial sales hires and finding the initial sales manager. And that part of the growth had been taken care of before I'd actually found the business. They were doing around $250,000 a month in cash. They couldn't break that threshold prior to me coming in. And that's where I was able to bring nitrous oxide to that little fire that they had burning there to the sales process of this program. Well, the first thing, if you're curious about the funnel, we'll go ahead and draw it out for you here. Some graphic will go on the screen. We were running YouTube ads that sent people to a basic lead capture. After they submitted their information, it would take them to a little bit more education about what it is that we did and what we provided and encourage them to book a call. Once they book a call, they got taken to a page saying one of our advisors would reach out to them. On the back end of that, we had appointment setters, like 12 or 13 of them, that were just calling leads at the rate at which they were coming in really, really fast. I mean, we're spending a couple $1,000s a day on ads for context to do this $250,000 a month that they were doing at the time. We're calling them within 5 to 10 minutes of them opting in. We're putting a good 40 to 50% of them up for actual appointments with the sales team, and that's where they would then go and close and convert them. But between the setting call and the sales call, they would get a video from us that was about an hour in length that really explained and sold them on the whole opportunity and gave them more than enough social proof to believe what it is that we were about. Now, if you've been a follower of me, you might say, hey, the direct call funnel, isn't that where people book themselves? Well, there's the direct call funnel. And what makes the direct call funnel a direct call funnel is that people are getting sold your product just off of calls without any sort of education, low ticket, mid ticket, tons of education beforehand. We're really trying to optimize for that sale in the tightest sales cycle possible. And one of the hacks that you can do to increase your lead quality is force everybody to go through an appointment setter. Because when you have a human being call every single lead that submits their information, you have another level of filter or discernment that's going to separate the serious from the curious when it comes to who's going to buy your program. That protects your salesperson time and makes them more efficient all around. I digress. While this model was great, it did have its limitations, because getting to $250,000 a month is a really beautiful milestone for a business, but getting from $250,000 to $500,000 plus and even to your first million, well, that's where things become a little bit of a different animal. But they knew they had something missing that was preventing them to get to that $600,000 or even goated $1 million months, quote Jeremy Haynes. And that's where me stepping in and completely doubling not only our sales management efficiency, but how it was that we were selling was the true unlock. Putting in real standards and discipline and how we managed and operated the team is what allowed them to break from $250,000 to $600,000. I implemented a pretty cutthroat strategy for separating who should be on the team and who wasn't, because the challenge is if you have low standards, you begin to hire more people to cover for the work that one person could be doing. What I mean by that is one A player will do the work of 5 B and C players. But how do you know the A players until you actually cut out the Bs and Cs? Well, you need to test them. You need to try them. You need to have a standard and expectation that only A players can hit. And that's what I did. I came in and doubled the production KPI of everybody to see who would rise up to the challenge and who wouldn't. Because A players, well, they love pressure, they love challenge, they love expectations, they love being forced to grow. But Bs and Cs, well, they love their complacency because they're check collectors, for lack of better words, where they just want to make their money and live a cool life. But people that are really living on a purpose and want to grow your business, they do not. And you will be pleasantly surprised when it comes to seeing how much they can actually rise to the occasion when you put a little bit of pressure on them. And that's exactly what I did. And at the end of those 30 days, we'd walked out with more than doubling the business in terms of revenue. We'd also cut off all the B and C players who weren't that committed in the first place. And that allowed them to be able to sustain and hit those kind of numbers that got to $2.6 million a month later on. But the reason why this process worked so much better than all of the other funnels and things out there was because of the direct nature of it. And once more, I want to iterate on that for anybody who doesn't quite understand. You see, when your customer is considering buying something from you, there's a certain amount of education they need to consume. And where a lot of people go wrong is they get stuck and lost educating and giving things out for free and trying to build value and goodwill, hoping that somebody will buy. But the directness of our funnel is where we're trying to cut to the core of what it is that makes somebody buy and getting them to confront a purchase decision in the shortest time frame possible. And when you do that properly, that's when you're able to make ungodly sums of money. I'm currently doing that in my own business, and we're at an 8.6x ROAS. That means for every dollar I put in, I get $8.60 back. That's better than the S&P 500, that's better than crypto, and it's completely scalable, meaning if I spend more, I make more, and my numbers hold. And that was the beauty for this business, and they scaled themselves up to $2.6 million a month, was they had just raised their ad spend, kept the same A players there, continued the hiring and the management. I was able to train up a manager underneath me to kind of run and operate things since I had parted ways with that business later on down the line. And that's what really unlocked everything for them to hit $2.6 million a month in cash. Now, to put that into perspective, $2.6 million a month in cash is $24 million a year. That puts you in the top echelon of businesses. And so this strategy, this direct call funnel, is a hands down the simplest, most effective way to get to massive numbers, because the same thing you do to make 100 is the same thing you do to make a quarter, is the same thing you do to make 500, is the same thing to make $1 million and then 2 million. You don't have to change much in your business other than how you fulfill and a little bit about how you pitch the product. And that was actually one of the things I helped with that increased the conversions, was just the way that we were presenting, pitching, and explaining our product, so it was more persuasive and our salespeople were better at handling and overcoming concerns. Now, if you found this video helpful and you want to go deeper in learning how to build a sales sales process that scales your processes? Well, click the link down below to set up a time to learn more about what we call the direct call funnel for me and my team. We will actually install and set this up in your business, done for you. We will take care of figuring out what your messaging should be, just like we did for Profit Singularity. We'll take care of designing the funnel so you can have the highest conversion rates. We'll take care of even putting in and managing the salespeople who convert people into high-paying clients for you, so that way you can do what you do best, which is fulfill your product and your service. And if you hit that 2.6 million a month number, well, you'll be a pretty happy camper if you're doing that at a 50%, 60% margin, walk away with $1 million a month cash. Now, if you're a high ticket closer and you're curious to learn how to do what it is that I'm doing for other people, well, explore some of the other videos on my channel where I talk about fractional sales consulting, which is what it is that I currently do. I have clients that I operate with a $9,000 a month fixed fee plus a percentage of revenue. I also have some where I charge high ticket upfront fees. And once more, if you're considering working with my services, well, they kind of range in this. But once more, we do some pretty banger work. We do 2.6 million a month, $1 million months, $500,000 a month, $250,000 months, 70K months, life-changing amounts of money. If you're some beginner or you're not committed to actually getting to those large numbers, well, don't consider working with us and don't watch any of the content on this channel. This is really for heavy hitters and people that want to do it big. And I'm not talking fluff, people blowing up and promoting their numbers. I'm talking real numbers with real proof that we can back and put behind it. We've worked with over 30 plus clients in the last couple of years, and hopefully you'll be one of them next. So go ahead, click the links in the description down below, figure out what makes sense for you, and I will see you guys in the next video.